Yes, we are back to Boots to Business. We're here in the sunny Macclesfield to welcome my next guest. I'm excited for this one, to see his transition from being a football player to entrepreneur. I'm excited to see what he's like, and they've had a fantastic season as well. So I can't wait to see him. Let's go. Brings back some memories being on the pitch. I actually love this. I think any footballer finds any excuse to get on the pitch. I don't know if you know, Danny's goal scorer, and he's been doing really well this year, and I think he got promoted. Doing my research, and they've been doing really well, so see what he's got today. Old against new. Right.
I was going to say, let's get going.
I love it. So you let me know, let's go.
So I reckon we knock the balls here, right?
Yeah.
We'll go off the board, touch and finish, 5 each.
Yeah.
We'll do a few different angles, 5 each, couple volleys over the shoulder.
Yeah.
See if you still got it.
Yeah, that's fine for me.
Ray, don't go easy on him, please.
Just make sure you save his, that's all right. Oh, lefties, he's been practicing already. Look at the lefty. Oh, it's like warm-up statues. Oh!
I thought you whipped it across him then.
Oh.
Ready, Braid?
Oh, hands!
2-0.
This guy. Warming up. Warming up. Oh. Ooh. Hands.
Come on, Braid. Braid.
Old school there would be, that's gone. Yeah, gentle, he's being polite.
Oh, there he is, he's back.
Come on, warming up.
As I said, the young boys don't know about that one.
They don't. Warming up. Oh, he's giving me a chance.
Oh, it's a finish. He's still got it. 2-2, yeah? He's still got it. Oh,
finish.
Braid.
Oh, top bins.
Oh,
what
Braid.
a finish.
Don't go for them, Braid. I told you already.
You know what? I hate lefties. Really hate lefties. Oh, bad touch.
Oh, it's a finish.
Oh.
He's warmed up now.
Oh, I've got to his head.
Oh,
what a finish.
It away. Slot it away.
Oh.
Yes, Braden! Cool.
Oh!
You got an advantage here.
I found his weak spot. Oh! Hands! My kind of guy. Oh, hands. Oh, he's gone to the whippage. Ooh. Oh, I've got you on the next one though. Hands.
Can't get that power on it.
Oh, no! His legs were gone.
He's scrambling. I've gone for it as well.
Hands.
Oh, still
no
square.
dip.
Still all square.
No dippage.
Harewood.
Normal penalties. No! Don't
Don't let him do that to you. Finish.
Oh, it's a pen. It's a proper pen.
Oh no! See, I could never do that. That would scare the life out of me. Oh,
Brain, you've got to save that, Brain.
He almost got that way. See? So you're waiting for him to fall.
Yeah. Oh, Braid.
Yeah!
I tell you what, you still got it from the pen spot.
Bring some memories back. Oh! I thought you got that.
Oh,
Corners!
side netting.
Corners!
Side netting, not miss one.
Yes! Yeah! Yes, my bro. Bless, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Sick.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. Sick.
Thank you. There you go.
Man's gone business. Straight from business to football, boy. Football to business, my guy.
Welcome, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
It's been nice to have you here, man.
Yeah.
It's been nice to have you here.
Thank you, my bro.
All right, let me get showered up and we'll go have a chat, yeah?
Yeah, decent. Top man. Oh, I can't believe you just whooped my ass. I thought I was a young man and oldie gonna show you some old tricks to try and beat you in the shooting competition, but you seem to be on point with that. The stats don't lie, does it? Don't lie at all. You're on fire, but no, thank you for having me out there. It's nice to get my boots back on and have a little kick about.
No, thank you for coming down. Thank you for coming down. It's been brilliant. It was obviously nice to have a bit of a old versus young, and as I was joking about outside, you were someone that I watched when I was younger. So
yeah, it's crazy though. It's crazy. Who did you support when you was a kid?
Nottingham Forest.
I know you was telling me about it.
Born in Nottingham, so yeah. When I was first getting into football, you was obviously the main striker at Forest, 2001, 2.
Yeah.
So when I was 5 or 6 getting into football, so it's
what didn't you get anything at Forest?
So I ended up signing for Forest when I was 14.
Okay.
But as I was saying before, when I first signed at Villa when I was 12, 2007, that was the year you signed there as well.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's a strange world.
Wow, then you've obviously gone on to doing what you're doing now and banging in bare goals this year. It's looks fantastic. I did do my research. Don't worry. You're right up there. How's it been?
It's been brilliant, man. It's as I was saying before, it's such a good club. It's good to be winning every week and have such a good feel around the club. I saw my first year at the club, but it's been brilliant. It was just a tough start. When I first came in, I scored 2 in the first 3, and then I went on a run where I didn't score for 9 games.
No way.
And I was kind of Robbie Savage's first main signing, so I had a bit of pressure, coming in.
Massively.
They like to know you've kind of come from a bigger club, thinking I need to do well, and as you know, as a striker, that pressure starts to build and build.
It does.
And then it was mad because I had my longest run that I've had in my career of not scoring, 9 games, and then I went on to score, I think, 11 games in a row and just couldn't stop scoring. And since then, thank God, I've scored 37 now. So been kind of a goal a game ever since then. So been flying. So yeah,
good for you,
it's
man.
been a good season.
It's
man.
mad, isn't it? What happened? How did you feel when you didn't get that goal?
Do you know what? It was just building it, and when you start to play different because you're looking for the goal, and then when you're looking, it don't come. You miss a chance, and you're thinking, oh no, and you're taking chances like you wouldn't. And as you know, when you start scoring, it's just flowing.
Just flows, though, doesn't it?
Just flowing. And then I remember after 9 games of not scoring, I had a penalty, and I was thinking, I'm confident on penalties anyway, but I was thinking this will be the turning point, and thank God I scored it, and then.
Good lad,
from
good
there.
lad.
So yeah.
Oh, I'm buzzing for you. I can see your smile, bro. You're a handsome guy, and you're smiling really good. Obviously, I'm here for that, and the other things. Because I've been doing my research, and the things that you've been doing off the field is amazing, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously, we'll get to that later on, but I love that, and that's where Boots to Business is. That's why I set the podcast up. Barn Door is one of my other companies that's alongside it to try and educate the next generation. And what you are doing is phenomenal, because it takes a lot to do that, especially while you're playing. You obviously found a different avenue to go down, that you had a bit of passion and you wanted to help other people, which is phenomenal. But yeah, we'll get to that, which is I'm excited about. So where did it all start?
Yeah, so just to kind of take you through the whole journey. So
please.
Nottingham born and bred, like you say. going to the City ground as a kid, seeing you there.
Yeah, God.
And
Bring back
then
some memories.
when I was 12, signed for Villa. Spent a couple of years there. At 14, went back to Forest.
Yeah.
Had a good 4.5 years at Forest, and then my parents were always kind of pushing me towards the education side of things because you know, they were always kind of a bit old-fashioned with kind of making sure you got a good education behind you and that kind of thing. So because I literally lived down the road from the training ground at Forest, I didn't stay in school and didn't stay at Forest and do the BTEC as a scholar.
Yeah.
My parents wanted me to stay in school, so I did A-levels alongside the scholarship from 16 to 18. And then at 18, you know, same old sad story, didn't get that scholarship, but I was part of what I thought was a really good youth team. So we got into the semi-finals of the Youth Cup back then.
Good times, good times.
Yeah, no, good times, man. But I was a first year scholar that year. So there was a lot of players in the second year scholars that I thought were top players. Back in them days of kind of 2013, 14 at Forest. God. It was a time when Forest were going through like a merry-go-round of managers. You know, every couple of months. So none of the young lads were getting chances in the first team. And I saw a lot of players that I thought were good players getting released at 18, 19, going on to play non-league and stuff, playing Tuesday, Thursday nights. And I thought to myself, you know, if they're not getting a chance, I don't know what's going to happen for me. So when I got released from Forest, I wanted something a bit more secure. Looked into the America route, thought this is kind of a 4-year contract or a scholarship at a university.
So what made you look into that? What made
somebody came in and spoke to us at Forest about the opportunity.
Yeah.
And obviously because I had that education background of doing my A-levels and stuff, it was always kind of something where I thought, if I can get a degree, and because I looked at universities in England as well as kind of a backup, but this kind of opportunity in America to get a scholarship so the degree's paid for, you know, go and have 4 years in America, which I thought would be incredible. Play football full time as well. I thought this is a no-brainer, so I looked into that. Had an opportunity to go into Middlesbrough when I left Forest, Burton Albion and Leicester, but all of these things were kind of, you know, maximum I was going to get was kind of a 1-year deal, and I thought I had this guy calling me up saying come to New York on a 4-year scholarship, playing football, get an education. I thought this is unbelievable. So I went out to America for 4 years. Went to a school called Hofstra University, studied economics, because I did economics as an A-level.
Quite a bright lad, yeah?
Yeah, so I thought this is brilliant. So loved it, best 4 years ever out there. And then was hoping to play professionally out there. So the way they do it is they have like the draft at the end of your time at university.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks before the MLS draft, broke my kneecap. So I had a mad knee injury. You know, did my rehab out there. Thank God I had a really good surgeon out there and stuff, and got back to playing after about 6 or 7 months. Went and lived out in Barcelona for about 5 months, playing football out there while I was getting fit again.
You've done a bit of travelling, yeah?
And then, long story short, through an agent, managed to get a trial back here at Port Vale.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, jump straight back on a plane, take that trial. They signed me, and then found myself back in playing football in England for the last 6 years or so. So I didn't make my professional debut until I was 23.
Okay.
So I had, you know, best part of 5 years out of the country. But because of that kind of background of those pivotal years, I always had something else in the back of my mind in terms of looking at something outside of football, because I didn't. It was always a dream for me, but it wasn't like I was, you know, in academies all the way through thinking I always want to just be a footballer. Do you know what I mean? And then kind of coming back into football, I never kind of took one eye off things outside of the game as well, because as you know, football's a short career.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So yeah, I found myself back playing football in England, and then as you know, as a centre forward, especially in the lower leagues, it's so volatile. You know, I've always been the type of player where I'd go anywhere for my career. You know, less so now because I'm 29 now, so you're looking at kind of settling down up here, and I've moved to Manchester with my girlfriend as well. But you know, over the years, I always said, you know, if flipping Yeovil come in for me and it was the right deal, I'd go down there. You know, and I'd go anywhere. So
you feel sort of settled now.
Settled now, but you know, over the last 6 years, I've had 9 clubs. I've been up to Gateshead and Hartlepool. I've been down to Boreham Wood, living in St Albans. I've been Boston, Chester, Scunthorpe, Port Vale, Alfreton. So I've been everywhere, man, and found myself at Macclesfield. So
it seemed good though. A smile on your face, man. It made me feel good. Like obviously, people joke about being at so many clubs and doing so many things. Obviously, that's the banner they have in the change room. But people don't realise sometimes it benefits us in the business world.
Definitely.
Because you know a lot of people and you can network in, and obviously we'll get to your businesses and where you've gone to, and obviously where you've gone through your career to put you where you are, and the degrees, which is amazing. Did you think that come from your mum and dad, pushing you to take education? So. Are you pleased that you did that?
Definitely. Definitely, because I think it just gives you such a broader kind of view on the whole career. And I think a lot of players, you see so many players that have only ever known football. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I remember when I came back to Port Vale, long story short, I was working when I was playing in Spain, playing kind of non-league, I was working in a call centre. Night shifts in a call centre, right? At 22 years old. And I remember going in to do these night shifts thinking, flipping heck, like. And then 2 weeks later, I'm a professional footballer at Port Vale. And you go into football and you see lads, because lads do, as they get used to stuff, complaining about the type of passengers. I've got a smile on my face because I'm thinking, I was in a call centre 2 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean?
But I think that's, don't quote me, I think that's lost a bit in the game.
Of course.
Thing is, stuff like you can humble them because the smile on your face can make them a sort of a reality check. Because I think that's where it goes wrong in a lot of places. Lads don't really realise what it actually feels to be like being on the outside when you're in the game. Because when you're in that bubble, there's nowhere better. It's the best job in the world, 100%. Like coming through them gates for me, I was like, I'm back, like reminiscing. In my brain, I think I am, but obviously my body won't be able to handle it. But you just automatically assume that you're in that bubble and you're invincible. And
I think a lot of lads think that bubble's going to last forever. Do you know what I mean? And especially with like the finances, like lads will get more money, and I think a lot of lads you see where they've come from backgrounds where even their parents might not have had that kind of money as well, so they kind of get more money, and naturally you spend more money. Do you know what I mean? And you don't realise that, like we said before, you know, at 32, 33, whatever time that career ends, that tap stops and you're done. You know what I mean? And they don't give you a parachute payment for the last few years. You're done. Do you know what I mean?
Because obviously there's new blood coming in, and they want to obviously, as a business, they want to do well. And to do well, you have to get players in and out, and like the better players to try and like attract as much as possible.
When I was at Port Vale, I remember, because I'd just come from abroad and I didn't really have, you know, a name behind me or anything like that, you know, I was on absolute peanuts at Port Vale, but I saw some of the lads that I suspect were on good money. And you know, the culture in the changing rooms, whether it's, you know, clothes, cars, watches, you know, horses, whatever it is, I remember thinking, if I get a good wage, I'm going to make sure I put it into something good, use it wisely, and
good man.
You know, thank God I kind of saw that.
Well, it's shown now the person that you are. You're I'm glad I've got you here, because you seem like an amazing lad, and if anyone can't learn off you, then they ain't even worth talking to. Because I'm being serious, bro. Because it's refreshing to sit here talking to you, because obviously it's nice that I can put this out to people to educate them. Obviously, the bubble is nice, but once that bubble's burst, you need to start thinking about yourself, your families, your mum and dad, just everybody. They sometimes you don't realise they rely on you. Well and good, you have your fun, you enjoy your football week in, week out, which I did for 20 odd years, and I loved it. But then I sort of fell on what I had accidentally, which was nice. But then I tried it and I excelled on it. And I wanted to, and I'm now me excelling, I want to try and give that to everybody to let them know that you can't just stop at football, regardless of how much money you make, because it can go really quickly. Of course. And this is obviously, listening to you has made me even more inspiration to want to go and do even more. I don't even heard your story yet, because I just your smile and how you are and your story. It's phenomenal, bro, to see where you come from and what you did. And just a couple of questions, really. Like, what was your lifestyle like? Was you a spender during your career when you had it?
I'll be honest with you, fortunately, not really. You know, when I first started, I mean, I've always been kind of entrepreneurial. You know, and before, you know, when I was 14, 15, I'd be washing cars and doing all that type of stuff and trying to make money. And my dad's always been a bit of an entrepreneur, which kind of, you know, spurred me on a little bit. But when I first got my money at Forest, I went in my youth team, you know, I got that first pay packet, £80 a week.
It was good times, bro. Nice. They were gone.
Gone.
First day.
So coincidentally, when I first turned 18, I was allowed in the casino as well. So that's what I was doing. And you know, through my scholarship, I spent all my money on saving up and getting my driving licence. I mean, as a lot of young lads do. But, you know, thankfully for me, when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I was a student. You know, so I didn't necessarily have that kind of culture around me of, you know, a lot of lads they do with getting their first nice wash bag and their first nice car and all that type of stuff. So kind of when I came back into it at 23, back into that culture of kind of your professional English dressing room, I kind of missed that through those years. And like I say, I was on peanuts when I first signed at Port Vale, and then I kind of thought to myself ahead, you know, if I ever get to that opportunity, I will hopefully save it a bit. And then you know, from a personal financial perspective, when I first started being able to save money, it was when COVID hit. So I was earning a bit of money through football. I was at Chester at the time. And a friend of mine, he's got a company that sends lads to America on scholarships. And he said to me, you know, why don't you jump on Zoom calls, as everyone was on Zoom back then, speak to some of the young lads. So I was doing a bit of work for him, you know, saving a bit of money through that as well. And basically managed to save a good chunk of money. And kind of using my economics degree, I was putting it in stocks and shares and all this type of stuff, and put a bit of money into Google and a bit of money into Apple and all this type of stuff. And then I remember I had a good amount of money saved up. I was sat in the house, I played up in Hartlepool. I was sat in a house with a few of the lads. And it's one of the lads I know from Nottingham. He's a year younger than me. So he'd have been, I think I was about 25, 26. So he'd have been only 24, 25. And I showed him my stocks and shares portfolio, and he said to me, oh, why don't you just buy a house? I thought, buy a house? Like, I thought mortgages were for my parents, and you had to be working for 20 years. And I said to him, you know, I've got a football contract that's 30 weeks long. How can I buy a house? And he said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So his parents did it a bit. So I spoke to him quite a lot about it. I spoke to his mum, went and viewed a load of houses, did a load of research myself, asked a load of questions. The type of person I am, I like to do a lot of kind of due diligence, and went and viewed, you know, 30 properties. And long story short, bought my first house, you know, learnt loads about it, made some mistakes along the way, but thought, this is brilliant. You know, I've got kind of a bit of a passive income that's making a couple of £100 a month. And so I thought, this is exciting. I'll go save up and buy another one. Did that, remortgaged, buy another one, bought another one, got to a point where I got 4 properties. You know, I've never earned massive money, but kind of just saving and doing it like that. Got to a point where I got 4 properties. And then over the last few years, as I say, the benefit of having so many teams is that I've had so many different teammates. You know, I'd be in the changing rooms or in the car school with the lads driving to training, and I'd be on the phone to a solicitor, mortgage advisor, and my teammates would be saying, like, why are you speaking to a solicitor? Why are you speaking to a mortgage advisor? Like, what's that about? And you end up just kind of sharing with lads, and you don't realise how many lads are in a similar position where they've got 25, 30, 40 grand saved up in the bank. They don't want to buy a house to live in because a lot of lads want that kind of flexibility. You know, if they get
money
a call,
in the bank,
if they get a call to get a big move to go and move, they want to be able to do it. They don't want to be tied up with a big mortgage and all that type of stuff. But they get to kind of late 20s, early 30s, they don't know what to do with it. No one's advising them on what to do with it. And a lot of agents at kind of your lower levels are more concerned with getting you a move rather than kind of helping your financial welfare and all that type of stuff. So I realised there's kind of a bit of a gap with lads where they're not getting the help, they don't know what to do. And that kind of organically led me on to setting up the Footballers Property Group, because I was helping lads anyway, advising lads and kind of pointing them in the right direction. So what we do is kind of take lads through every step of the process. So people will come to us and say, you know, I've got 40 grand, don't know what to do with it, can you help me? And it's kind of tying everything together, because over the last few years I've built so many good contacts where we'll find lads a property, you know, buy a property for them, set up a limited company if that's what works for them. Deal with the solicitor, mortgage advisor, because lads don't want to get home from training and be reading solicitors' papers and all that type of stuff. You know, any work that needs doing on the property, we'll sort that out for them and basically get them to a point where they've got a property renting out for them, set up for them, to kind of help them build a portfolio. So by the time they finish their career, they've got a nice portfolio for themselves. That's something that's kind of there for them. So we don't obviously, I don't tell lads to kind of never spend their money because they've got to enjoy it, but it's about you know, making sure that you've got one eye on life after football as well. So
100%.
It's been brilliant because it's gone so well, because like I say, you don't realise how many lads are in that position, especially kind of your levels. I don't know what it's like, obviously, you know more than me in terms of the advice you get around like the Premier League and stuff, but your lads in kind of your lower football league levels and your higher non-league levels are earning money more than you'd kind of earn in a normal job at that age. But it's not mega bucks, you know what I mean? It's enough money that you can put some away and invest it, but they're not getting that help and support. So
obviously I'm not going to speak bad of anybody, but we get advice, but they don't take it to the next level.
I think a lot of people
do. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think a lot of people are kind of afraid of giving too much advice, you know, because they don't want it to kind of come back on them. You know what I mean? So I think
I'm trying to work on certain peoples to try and come out of the box, because the lads need it. Because you know, when it's in that dressing room, no one talks.
No, of course.
You probably get one or two out of the lads, especially yourself, that want to go and do stuff and help other people. But if all the lads talk together and they've got people there that can help them do that, it'd be so much better. It's great hearing what you're doing there and how you're trying to help the other lads. But obviously, with your portfolio and then talking, and lads want to know. And when they hear you doing it and you're going through stuff, they want to hear what you're going through, and if you can help them. And if you didn't do that, you would never know what was going on with other lads, really, if they got any spare cash to spend or what they're going to be doing later on. And when you get to the age between 25 to 30, that's when they start saving. And they think,
of course.
Oh, I need to start saving. But you should have been preparing for that ages ago. But no, it's amazing hearing what you went through. What advice was you given throughout your career? Did you get given any advice?
I mean,
to put where you put
in terms of financially,
both on the field and off the field to where you are now. Is it more?
I mean,
learning
on the field, I've had some fantastic coaches. You know,
Yeah.
you know, especially in the last 10 years, I've not really had. Because I've had so many different clubs and stuff, I've not really had too long with certain coaches, but I've had so many different influences.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a lot of time when I was younger playing out wide, and then only in kind of the last 6 or 7 years, I've kind of gone more down the middle. So one thing I've had to work on a lot is kind of the hold-up play side of things, because it's not something I grew up with.
Said to give you a couple of tips.
It's not something I grew up doing. But no, thankfully my goal scoring's been good, you know, consistently at different clubs. So I've had some really good influences, some really good coaches, and you know, a lot of different bits of help there. You know, obviously learning from loads of different players and growing up and kind of maturing at different clubs, and especially over the last 2 or 3 years, you know, it's that transition of being kind of a youngster within a men's football team to kind of being more experienced and being one of the older lads. And even like a couple of years ago, I was at Boreham Wood, and you know, the average age in the dressing room was probably 32. You know, there's a lot of older lads there.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And there's a lot of
still going along.
Yeah, a lot of kind of big, strong men there. You know, direct team and you know, very good lads. And then coming here, we've got a lot younger group. You know, I think the average age here is about 24. So I find myself as kind of one of the older lads, and you find your mindset changes a little bit. But then off the field, you know, I've had a lot of advice, a lot of kind of influences on me. You know, my parents, you know, always kind of the education side of things, and then you know, my friend when I was at Hartlepool, who obviously taught me about houses and stuff like that. But I've always been kind of looking into, as I say, with my economics and stuff, looking into ways to invest and all that type of stuff anyway. And then obviously in doing the Footballers Property Group stuff, you have so many different kind of people that see what you're doing and reach out to you and help and all that type of stuff, even yourself obviously. You know, you find that a lot of people are kind of looking in that direction and trying to help, and people are happy to help, so it's been brilliant, you know.
Yeah, no, I've seen your stuff and it does look brilliant. It's brilliant hearing you want to try and help other people. What about the other side? People that's not give you good advice, or how's the transition been from people failing? If you have some hurdles that you've had to overcome, and how did you do that?
I mean, just in terms of on the pitch, you know, I've had struggles as everybody has, you know, when you're not playing at certain teams. And as I say, I've had a bit of a kind of ruthless mindset over the last 6 years or so, because I knew what it was like, or kind of had that mindset of potentially not being a footballer, if you know what I mean, from kind of 21, 22, 23, going into normal work and stuff, and then kind of coming into football. I always had that mindset where it was like, I need to make this work, you know what I mean? And especially kind of, you know, when you're at that financial level where one bad season you can be earning a lot less money, and you've got to be part-time looking for another job as well and all that type of stuff. So I was always ruthless, whereby, you know, if I wasn't playing, I was knocking on the manager's door every day, and kind of, if I'm not playing, I need to go out on loan and all that type of thing. So I was always kind of very, very ruthless in that sense, and you know, I'll go anywhere to play and trying to make it work. And thank God over the last 2 or 3 years, you know, I've had some really good seasons, which has kind of, I think, kind of boosted my profile a little bit in terms of interest from other managers and all that type of stuff. So thankfully over the last 2 or 3 years, I've had good interest from different teams and stuff. But there's been definitely struggles with certain clubs and, you know, teams where the environment's not as good as it's been at certain teams, you know what I mean, with struggling teams and potentially toxic environments and all that type of stuff. It can get difficult, you know what I mean, and you know what it's like as a striker, if your confidence is low and all that stuff, you're like a different player, you know what I mean. And then off the pitch, you know, thankfully I've had a lot of people help me, you know what I mean? A lot of people help me along the way, and even being at Macclesfield, you know, it's been brilliant, you know, being at a club like this, you know, you meet so many people, there's a lot of different people interested in the club, a lot of different influences and things, and even like coincidentally, when I first signed for Macclesfield, my sponsor on a match day, I met him up in this bar after a game, and he's a guy from Manchester, he's been really helpful with me, so he's got loads of contacts and things, and he's helped me out, and he sponsored a couple of events that I've done in Manchester, so we had one last night, and you meet so many people that are willing to help, and I think a lot of people as well, like yourself, you know, that have been through the process of being a footballer and seeing the kind of the transition, almost want to help and look at players that are in it now and guide them along the way, so it's been brilliant, you know, it's I can't thank Macclesfield enough for the help that they've given me as well.
Yeah, I bet you can't. So talk to me about your business now. Like, obviously, I want to hear a lot more and where you're at this moment in time. You said you had an event last night. Do you do a lot of events and try and...
Yeah, so I started it in August.
Yeah.
You know, because it was kind of off the back of, like I said, I've been doing property myself, kind of privately and personally for the last... I think I bought my first one, the sale went through December 2021, so what's that, 4 and a bit years ago. So I've been doing it for probably 4 years myself and you know, loved it and enjoyed it.
You seem to be doing well, you seem like you've been doing it for years.
It was the only kind of thing, bar football, that I was really passionate about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But finances is one of them things you kind of don't know whether to put stuff out there, you know what I mean? I was always kind of a bit private about it, and like you say, you end up speaking to lads in the change rooms and they want to know and they're asking questions, and I found myself getting to a point where when I signed for Macclesfield, for the 3 or 4 years before that, I'd always been full-time. At Macclesfield, we train on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. So I found myself with a bit more time, and I thought to myself, you know, it's an opportunity to be able to do something outside of football as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 29 now, so hopefully I've got a long time left, but in terms of utilising my time to make sure that I can, you know, do something after football. So I thought, you know, the only other thing that I'm really passionate about is property. So if it's something that I want to get into, I need to kind of put myself out there.
Yeah.
You know, so I realised a lot of people were interested in it, looked into doing something, set up the Footballers Property Group, and just started, you know, putting myself out there in terms of trying to help people and you know, set up the business and what we can do for people. And you know, it's just gone from strength to strength in terms of people reaching out and helping. And we had an event back in December, which I say was sponsored by Richard Irving and his company WRS and ETL, where we had this event, and it was just an opportunity for footballers to come down, learn a little bit about property, you know, get a little bit of a taster, hear what it's all about. You know, it's free, put on some refreshments and stuff, and allow people to just come and hear a little bit about it. And you know, that one went really well. Yeah. And then off the back of that, you get a lot of people interested and want to learn a little bit more, and you find yourself, you know, I was going up and down the country having coffees with lads and just explaining a little bit about what I've done and how we can help them. And what we try and do is kind of tailor it to different people's situations. So we spoke to some people that, you know, kind of in the northeast, or some people that are based down south that want to invest further up north where it's a little bit cheaper. But, you know, looking in kind of Sheffield, Leeds, Birmingham, Nottingham, the northeast, the northwest, you know, wherever it may be, tailoring it to lads. So certain lads, for example, somebody in the northeast might say, you know, I've got X amount of money, I want to buy a property close to home. So we'll go up there, find properties around there. You know, got a few contacts up there as well, and find something that works for them and their budget. Obviously, make it as hands-off as we can for them in terms of guiding them through the process. You know, and getting them to a point where they've obviously got their investment property. Some lads want to learn a little bit along the way, and we're happy to obviously help them through the process because it's important that they know the process. But some lads, you know, don't have the time, don't want to do it, and they just want it done for them. They know property is a good idea.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and they want a property, but they don't really want to do all that stuff. So that's absolutely fine as well. But kind of found ourselves doing that, and then that led on to the second event, which was last night. So I think there was 3.5 months between the two events, but last night's one went really, really well. We got a couple of guest speakers down. So Mark Duffy, who played in the Premier League, and he gave a little bit of a different insight, obviously played at a higher level as well. And then Andy Owens, who played kind of lower levels, but they've both had, you know, over a decade in property, so they gave really good kind of insights.
Oh, wow, that's good to know.
You know, we had over 60 people at the event, so it was brilliant, you know, to kind of share and got really good feedback from it, and it was brilliant. Yeah, it was really good night.
Many athletes in there?
Yeah, there was loads of different footballers, from quite a few different clubs. So
Yeah.
it was brilliant to be able to, a lot of them said, they were really interested and want to learn more about it. So that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, it's trying to get them to obviously they always say that, and then when they go home and then they come in, it just goes over their head instead of actually taking advantage of it, because you get a couple of them that want to.
Yeah, definitely, but I think as you know, with football, footballers do what footballers do. You know what I mean? Whether it's fashion, whether it's investments, whatever it is, people will kind of lean on their teammates. Do you know what I mean? And football is a closed network where everyone knows everyone. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you do good jobs for people, they recommend you to other people.
100%.
In the reverse side of it, do you know what I mean? You only have one opportunity at ruining your reputation, so it's all about making sure that you look after people, do things right for people, and especially because I'm still in football at the moment, you want to make sure that you look after people, and I think it's the reason it's kind of worked really well so far is that because I'm still in football, you've got that trust of people already. I'd like to think that people speak well of me in the game, and teammates that I've had. I've had over 250 teammates. I've had 9 different clubs, and
I said, having a lot of players with you.
Exactly, and there's thousands of kind of teammates of teammates. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mutual friends and stuff. So, that network is already there, and people trust somebody that's already in the game. I'm not kind of somebody random that's coming in trying to help footballers.
Yeah, trust is massive with footballers, because they know you, and obviously we're in the public eye, so they struggle with the communication things. They just want to know that because they haven't got the time to do it. They think that, because I was going to ask you actually, because you just said that you train Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you have a lot of time on your hands. Does a lot of the other lads work?
There's a few
part-time jobs.
Yeah, so there's a few of the lads.
Or they do try and do it full time.
There's a few of the lads that do other things.
Yeah.
So obviously Macclesfield have done a good job of balancing it. So I believe they were full time. But obviously in the lower levels, nobody else is full time, so they kind of dropped a couple of days. So they still kept the training in the mornings, but it's a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. A couple of lads do a few other things. So one of the guys does a bit of plumbing. One of the guys has got his own gym and does like PTing and stuff.
Okay.
A couple of lads do a few other things, but quite a few of the lads just try and obviously focus on their football. And I believe there's plans to obviously increase the training load when we're promoted and stuff like that.
Does that mean increase the pay because you want to try and keep lads?
I believe so. But no, obviously with Tuesday, Thursday, it's worked really well for me because, playing week in, week out, you kind of get that time to recover, get that time to work on things outside the game as well. And I think even for me personally, it's I don't believe it's a coincidence that I've had my best goal scoring season when I've also started my business. Because, I'm the type of person that is always thinking about football. You know what I mean? I'll go home and the whole week, especially
we all do, bro.
When I was 24.
Not just you.
But when I was 24, 25, if I had a bad game on the Saturday, I'd be moody until the Thursday. Do you know what I mean? And I think being busy with my business, it's allowed me to refresh and kind of look at other things and kind of focus on other things.
Good.
So the football kind of just flows, you know what I mean?
Because there's always another game to make right.
Definitely.
And obviously now you're so happy with your business, it could just take over that. Which is good to hear. Very good to hear. Any advice? What advice would you give to athletes? I won't just say footballers, I mean just athletes in general, because they seem to struggle, because obviously I've set up a new business called Barn Door, which is a platform for athletes to come on to be educating throughout the whole career, to preparing them for life after sport. So what advice would you give to this generation now, next generation, to prepare themselves? One
piece of advice I would give is what I always say to footballers as well, because a few of the lads obviously see what I'm doing, and I've chatted with these lads all the time, and a lot of them obviously aren't interested in property, but one thing I think is really important is that people think about something else they like. You know what I mean? Whether it's working in a gym or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Working towards something else that you like, do you know what I mean? Because I think in a sport you have an opportunity whereby, if you've got 10 years in that sport, if you're kind of ticking away with something else in the background, when that 10 years finishes, you're not starting from zero with something else. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people, I saw it when I was at Port Vale when I was a lot younger. A lot of people don't start thinking about the next step until they're a year away from it or 6 months away from it. And, they think, I've got the pressure of bills and I've got children and all that type of stuff. And they end up kind of having to go into something they don't like because they never thought about preparing for something else. So I think if you can focus on or find something else that you like, and work towards that, whether it be doing a qualification or whether it be, you know, saving a bit of money or whether it be building the foundations or something, it makes that transition a lot easier, because whether you like it or not, that transition is coming. At some point. It's coming.
But that's that you just hit the nail on the head. Like, how can I get the next generation to understand that it's a must do?
It's not an option.
Even if you've you've made loads of money, to actually want to do something else as well, because obviously the quicker you earn it, the quicker it can go. Of
course.
So I want to try and get them to understand, like, just try and, I don't know what the word is, because I just do, for me myself, I'm trying to, when I talk to people, I want to try and make sure that I get to them, that they, the next day or a couple of days, they're looking into it and they want to do something, just even if it's not properties or anything else, but they're looking for something to do to try and help them along the way.
I think the two things I would say is trying to find something else that they're passionate about. You know, fortunately for me, I found something which was property, but, you know, trying to find something else that they're passionate about, even if it is, you know, a vocation that needs a qualification or something like that they need to work towards. And the second thing I would say is, you know, people underestimate the amount of money you can make by saving a little bit often. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saving a little bit and being consistent. You know what I mean? If you're saving a little bit of money over 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you know, by the time you're finished, you're going to have a bit of a pot to fall back on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And some people think, oh, you know, I've had people come to me and say, you know, well, I don't earn $5,000 a week. I can't say, but you can save a little bit, you know what I mean? And even if it's saving for a good few years, you know what I mean? I was saving for 3.5 years before I bought my first property. You know, you have to save and put little bits away and keep doing that, you know what I mean? So I think it's important that a lot of people understand the importance of saving. You know, because we have that privilege when we're in football, whereby if you're earning a good bit of money, you can afford to save a little bit and not get tied into keeping up with the Joneses with the luxuries.
Everybody tries to.
Everybody tries to.
You don't need to.
No. Obviously. But I think it's that, and I think it's like I said before, just making sure that if you can find something else that you like. I think as well, people have the benefit in sport where you've got, you know, if you're 22, 23 in football, for example, and you know you've got kind of 10 years left of your career, you've got an opportunity to try something. You know what I mean? If you want to try and do a podcast or start a YouTube channel or something, you can try that. And if it doesn't work after a couple of years, you can try something else, because you've got the benefit of time. Do you know what I mean? And it's brilliant for me to see a few of my teammates have tried different things. You know, one of my teammates has just started a podcast and that type of thing, because it's brilliant to see people going into other things and that type of thing. Man.
I'm pleased with that. But thank you, Danny. That's bang on for me. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
It's been unbelievable. It's a great episode of Boots to Business, and I'm overwhelmed in more so than I've doing the research on you, and hearing your story is just phenomenal. I can't wait to people to listen to it, and hopefully they will act on what we've been talking about.
I really appreciate you coming up, man.
Top man. Thanks for having me. Good. And that's a wrap. I would like to thank Ronnie, Income After Sport, and the team for sponsoring this podcast. As it marred, BMW Stansted. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you, guys.